I don't remember what year it came out, but I'll never forget when the documentary called The Secret came out. I watched this documentary, and look, it was a little gimmicky, and I think they had to do that for the mass marketing purposes of it. But there was something to it that I knew made sense for me. It resonated, and I believed it. And I started looking into it and started finding all these different sources for this concept called the law of attraction and how to, just basically manifest things into your life that you want. And I was really big on positive thinking. I like being an optimist, and I just believed in it. I caught fire with it. I started reading all of Napoleon Hill's books, and I saw Earl Nightingale's videos online, The Strangest Secret. I mean, there's just so much content. And the one thing that I realized as I was just doing my own research and consuming all of the content online about it was that almost everyone who's successful believes in this secret and believes in this law of attraction. And what was interesting is as I looked through all the comments on so many of these videos, there are just so many haters, so many people who say it's BS and it doesn't work and it's just marketing. And meanwhile, the people that I've met that feel that way are usually people who aren't doing so great. They're not very successful, and they just continue to bring more and more into their world that they don't want. And then I see all these amazing, successful people with just a ton of abundance into their life. And they understand this concept that you can actually create things in your life and attract things that you want by programming your mind and your subconscious mind to go after and believe that you have something even before you have it. And I started making these vision boards early on in my career. I started writing out all my goals. I mean, even in high school, I was doing it with wrestling. I was putting out all my goals with the sports. And when I started doing it for business, and then I started seeing all these things show up in my life, it just, again, further confirmed that, there's something to this. And, the stats don't lie. They say, whatever the percent is, 3% of the people in the country don't write down, or only 3% of the people in the country write goals down. And I just believe in goals. I believe in taking baby steps and moving towards something that you're shooting for and aiming high at, and having a clear vision and knowing what you want and having such crystal clarity and laser-like focused vision on what it is that you want. And I can't tell you there's many things that I've gone after that I don't have in my life. And I always say you got to be really careful what you go after, because there's a really good chance that if you use the right mindset and the right programming and the right disciplines and build the right habits, you're probably going to get it. It's why someone who wants to quit smoking, who really wants a cigarette really bad, somehow always finds a way to get the cigarette. They could get up in the middle of the night and go to the gas station, but they're going to get it because they want it so bad that they manifest it right in their life to the point where they are forced to go take action because they can't stop themselves, and then they have it in their hand. And when I apply it to business and I think about all the things that I want, and I think about all the things I want to do, and it doesn't usually happen on the time frame that I would love for it to happen on, but it has come true. And I can't tell you how many times I've looked back and not had the things that I pursued. Of course, I was never completely unrealistic, but I definitely would push my comfort zone on whether it be the amount of income that I wanted to make, or whether it was the type of clients that I wanted to get, or how many clients I wanted to get, or how to make something out of nothing, or I didn't know how to figure out a solution to a problem. And then I would act as if like I already had the solution. And it is amazing how opportunities and things will show up in your life that you wouldn't normally be able to see if you did not have the right mindset. And if you're caught always complaining and being a victim and being, feeling sorry for yourself, you will not only attract more of that into your life, but you'll get the opposite of what you really, really want. And when I understood this concept and I watched The Secret, I had my entire company watch it, and I was obsessed with it. I ended up, I think, firing about 15 people from my company in a matter of about 60 days because I was so freaked out about being around people who were negative, because I knew that they were having such a contagious effect around other people in my office, and I didn't want that. So I was being really careful in protecting who I was hanging out with and who I was, surrounding myself with. And I was building kind of a fence around myself to protect myself from being around people that I didn't want to be around, and more importantly, being around people that I did want to be around. So positive people. And I remember I was hiring incredible, bubbly, great personalities. And I ran into a problem with that because these were not high performers. I just had an office full of really nice people who were very giving and caring. And I had to then slowly transform into finding those high performers. And that was kind of my journey through that. But I'll never forget the learning that I had from my vision boards, and then seeing The Secret, and then reading Napoleon Hill's books, and just kind of diving in. And I just highly recommend that if you're a leader, if you're someone who's a high performer, if you're someone who wants to get more, if you have a growth mindset, don't underestimate the power of your thoughts are things. And when you think something and then you say it out loud and then you write it down on paper and then you share that with people, there is some crazy power in that. And as people laugh at you and they think it's all a gimmick and they think it's BS, that's normal. You got to believe in it with all your heart, and you actually have to do it. It's not enough to understand the law of attraction, that you can manifest things in your life. You actually have to believe at your core that you are, and you act as if you already have what you want. I used to tell people in my office that if they want to be a team leader, act like a team leader without being a team leader. It doesn't mean you have to go around telling people what to do, but just act like one. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand that when you see people acting like a leader and then you need a leader, you're going to go to the person who's been acting like a leader. It's very easy to understand. It's common sense, just not common practice. So act as if, and this goes along with pretty much anything that happens throughout your day. If you're in a bad mood, act as if. Put a smile on your face. You don't have to look at your face all day. Other people do. So there's no point in putting other people into a bad mood just to feel sorry for yourself. So act as if. And there's something very powerful about the external way that you are being will have a huge impact on how you feel internally. And so I think that's an important part of understanding how powerful your beliefs are and how you can use the law of attraction to create what you want more of in your life, and understand that it won't happen on your timetable. And you have to look back and measure backwards and see kind of where you came from to realize and uncover there are so many things that you probably have in your life right now that, maybe you either never thought you could have and you didn't even work that hard to get. So you can only imagine if you put in some effort and, put the energy into going after something that you do want and being a little unrealistic. It's okay to be unrealistic. Like, why would you want to be realistic and just do what everyone else is doing? Be a little unrealistic, set some really big goals, throw the rock out there 5 or 10 years and go after something really big. I think, people put a glass ceiling over their head. They limit themselves. You're your own worst enemy. It's the worst thing in the world is that you stop yourself because you say to yourself, you can't do something. And as soon as you tell yourself that, you just made that true, that you can't do it. You are what you think about, and that's an important concept. You got to understand that, and you got to live that.